Now, in my few years on YouTube, there have been many changes. But there has been one constant, and I'm sitting in it. This vehicle has brought us to Disney. This vehicle has seen Boston many times. And back in my family days with Michelle, Jesse, Jaden, this was our family vehicle. So I'm surprised I haven't done a video on this yet. So let's take an up close and in-depth look at the monster. Now, starting at the front, the most prominent and aggressive feature you will see is this Satina push bar. Now, this is the same model of push bar that the state police in pretty much all 50 states use. So it's very sturdy, obviously used for pushing cars, which I have done with the owner's permission. It becomes very handy. It's great for pulling, and to say the least, it just looks cool. I mean, come on. And speaking of cool, this is not the stock headlight housing. This is a blacked out aftermarket housing. Now, there's so much damn chrome on these things, it's disgusting. So when you have these blacked out, it not only gives it a more aggressive look, but it also adds that much needed bit of contrast. I mean, you got chrome here, you don't need this chrome. You can see the damn thing from outer space if the sun hit it right. Now, there's always a general theme that I try to go for on every one of my vehicles. Now, obviously for this one, it's the monster. So we need to accent it with that bright neon monster green. So what better way to do this than painting the calipers? These are 2 piston calipers with green ceramic paint. And of course, we threw on some cross-drilled and slotted rotors, which not only look really cool, but it helps with heat dissipation. Now, as you can see, the rear drums also got the same treatment, of course. But we also have logos on the rear windows here on either side. We also have some little logos here by the C-pillars. Now, moving on to the back, there's nothing too exciting going on. Although I did keep the stock taillights because I've always loved that chromed out Altezza look, plus it adds a nice contrast to the gray. Not to mention that these taillight bulbs are not incandescent, they're actually LEDs, retrofitted. Now, there's 2 other things noteworthy on the back end here. The first is, simply, this chrome exhaust tip. Nothing crazy, but you know, you need it nonetheless. Who wants an ugly standard stock tailpipe sticking out? And most importantly, while this may not be a big deal nowadays, this is a reverse camera that I had to actually install myself with my aftermarket Pioneer head unit. Now, as I said, nowadays not that big of a deal, but in 2005 when this came out, these pretty much did not exist. Now, as far as the engine, nothing too fancy at all. It's a 3.4 liter V6 mated to an all-wheel drive transmission, which is pretty much necessary up here in the Northeast. But I do have a K&N lifetime air filter, which I highly recommend to everybody, as well as a red top Optima gel battery, which is great for cold cranking amps and we need to push that system with the additional power. And of course, the most prominent monster logo on the whole vehicle right here on the hood. Now, like the engine, the interior here is pretty stock, with the exception of the Pioneer touchscreen head unit, which has the backup camera, DVD, so on and so forth. We also have this X mount, which is probably the toughest and most robust mount I've ever had for a cell phone, because I just can't seem to find a damn mount that works without jiggling like this when you're driving at full speed. I mean, this one still jiggles, but the jiggle factor is a lot less than those cheap $5, $10 ones you get at Walmart. And last point of note here, we have a radar detector here in the corner, which is pretty much necessary, does a great job. It's called the Whistler, of detecting any speed traps. You are not immune. Yes, they can still get you, but it has been a huge helper and it's saved me a lot of money in the past. Now what good would a fancy touchscreen head unit be without a nice slamming sound system in the back? So what I have here is an Alpine Type R 12-inch subwoofer with a vented box. Now this is series parallel, and it is bridged with a Kenwood 1000 watt amp, 500 watts RMS. Now while some people will argue that a capacitor is not really necessary, I beg to differ, as I have gone through my fair share of batteries, and it does make a little bit of a difference. So I went with a 1 farad, and usually they want half a farad for every 500 watts. And that's it, guys. Like I said, nothing extravagant, nothing over the top, but just enough. And as I said in the beginning, this vehicle has been our chariot for many years. And it also carts myself and Josh around when he comes up when we do the Covered Bridge series. He is coming up in a couple weeks. So a lot more of those to come, and the quality is going to be from here last year to up here this year. Now I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I want to thank all of you that have stuck with me since the very beginning. And while it is only a handful of you, I know that you are the real deal, and it's a pure joy to bring these videos to you. Now, please click that stupid little bell next to the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you aren't getting notifications when I do post a new video, while they are few and far between. And as always, if you liked the video, thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, the big one, thumbs down. And that's going to do it, guys. Love you all. See you on the flip side.